Hey guys, we are back after a brief summer hiatus. We want to get back into what's been going on here in the real estate market, both nationally and compare it to what's going on here locally in Milford, Connecticut. We're going to cover the GDP, the federal rate hike. Wow, can't pronounce my words today. Been off too long. And we're going to go over what the housing market looks like directly here in Connecticut. So stay tuned as we dig into all of these topics and more. Hey guys, it's Justin DeCrosta, and if you find any value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe so you're up to date on all of our weekly videos as we cover all the real estate news both locally and nationally. Let's get into it. All right, guys, as I said, we're going to start right here. A CNBC article, the Fed approves hike that takes interest rates to highest level in more than 22 years. So it seems pretty scary. It's some pretty ominous news there, and we're going to relate it all back to the end, but we're going to cover three different topics, and we're starting off first with the federal rate hike of just over 25 basis points, a quarter point, to the total number. The quarter percentage point increase will bring the Fed fund rate to a target range of 5.25 to 5.5. And so seems a little bit scary. Like I said, you never want to see these. We've been seeing these month over month. Every time the Fed meets, they have these freaking rate hikes that just seem to be never ending. While policymakers indicate June meeting that 2 rate hikes are coming this year, markets are pricing better than even chances that they won't make any moves this year. So we go up a quarter point while we were gone. This is back in July 26th, a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to move on to the GDP report. I keep wanting to say GDP report here. And we're going to scroll down here. The Bureau of Economic Analysis showed the economy grew to an annualized pace of 2.4 during that period, faster than the consensus report. So everything sounds good there, right? So you get the GDP is increasing. We had the Fed. Geez, I can't really talk today. Sorry. The Fed rate hike. And the GDP are better than expected in quarter 2. So this is awesome, right? Increasing consumer spending on non-residential fixed investment, which includes spending on commercial real estate and equipment, led to the growth of the economy in the second quarter. Housing and utilities, as well as healthcare, led service spending. In good spending, recreational goods, vehicles, gasoline led the gains. So that's all good. So we have a little bit of bad news, a little bit of good news, and let's see what that does to the mortgage rates. Mortgage rates surged higher, but not because of yesterday's Fed rate hike. Interesting. So mortgage rates go up, but they're saying not because of the Fed rate hike. Well, you had the good economics report that we just went over, although the Fed went up. And we're going to see right here, the Fed hiked its policy rate yesterday, we just saw before, and mortgage rates jumped quite a bit higher. While these are already headlines drawing connection between these two events, they're actually unrelated. Interesting. As we discussed yesterday, the Fed's rate hike was already baked into yesterday's rate. Mortgage rates actually moved lower in the afternoon. So we're going to see a little bit correlation there. We had the Fed rate hike here. We had 25 basis points. We had really good, better than expected increasing economy over the country. And what does that do to the hike? Well, they jumped up just a percentage a little bit early in the day, but by the end of the day, they actually went down. So a little correlation with the GDP and the mortgage rates with a little bit of good news there, bringing the rates down just a bit. We got one more to go over with you. We have video right here. More homebuyers got lucky in June despite persistent inventory challenges. More homebuyers unexpectedly secured a home in June, but inventory hurdles remain. The National Association of Realtors Index pending home sales 0.03%. This is the interesting part. So not a lot of movement, but some. An increase which is excellent in pending home sales. As we know, we've been going over every week, it feels like, where the inventory continues just to be cratered and shallowed, and obviously have a lot of hurdles both on the buyer and seller side. But right here, we're seeing an increase in the pending home sales. So some more homes went under contract over the past month, and this is great. This is despite the Fed hike, although that was a little bit more recent. We're not going to see that reflected in the statistics quite yet, but we have the excellent economy. Well, excellent relatively for what we've been seeing. Mortgage rates went up just slightly, actually came back down by the end of the day, and now we're seeing the pending home sales rising a little bit. So that is all really good news. Let's bring it full circle here as we look into our local market. So this is all of Connecticut, not just Milford or Orange, West Haven, Stratford, our immediate New Haven County. This is all of Connecticut. And we're going to see the median sales price just skyrocketing, continues to fly up every couple of weeks. It's raising a couple of $1,000s here, May, June, July, and the prices just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. We'll go to the new listings though. We still are seeing just a crater. Just look at this from the start of the year, just a steep downhill ride all the way down to 40,000 available homes right now. And if we go back here, January, 3 years ago, let's go to January 21, 61,000. We're in January, 62,000 in 2021, all the way down to now getting into late summer here, just 40,000 homes for sale in the entire MLS. It's pretty crazy. But we'll look at these pending sales. We saw before this Yahoo article where we saw a 0.3% increase in the pending sales. In Connecticut, as we bring it more locally, still sliding down ever so much in the pending sales on there. So just a little bit of background of what's happening out in the nationally in the government and bring it home to locally. Unfortunately, as we see here in some of these local MLS charts, our local market still continuing to go down while prices, let's go back to sales price, continue to sky rise. Nationally, though, it's always good to look what's happening around in the country, and we see the GDP. Jeez, I'm not going to get that right the whole video. GDP rise and pending home sales ever so slightly rise, and the mortgage rates come down just a little bit. It looks like all great news, marginally great news for the real estate market, but unfortunately in Connecticut we aren't quite seeing that yet. It is good to note some of these outside factors to get a sense for what the entire market is doing and as a whole, as a country. But as we look a little bit more locally, we see that we quite haven't felt those effects as the country is, those marginal good indicators we'll see. So that's your market update here nationally, bringing home locally. We've been off for a couple of weeks. So the bottom line here, national picture getting a little bit more rosy, while the local picture kind of remains the same and continuing to go down. There had been some new reports of new home builds coming. We may cover that article from Inman the end of this week, maybe the beginning of next, to see kind of if there are any relief coming. I know here locally in Connecticut, there is an affordable housing shortage that has been getting a lot of media attention over the past couple of weeks. I see it on my local news almost every night. So there are some new programs, or trying to get some local programs pushed through to particular counties and towns to try to get some more of the affordable housing available here. But we'll keep our eye on that as we always do, and hope you enjoyed the video as an overview of the market, and we will get back to